Hey, everybody, just wanted to check in on Wednesday morning with a quick update as far as the 49ers defensive coordinator search goes. Actually, it's not really even an update on the 49ers defensive coordinator search. It's more an update on the Jacksonville Jaguars head coaching search. And I do believe that these things are interconnected just because Robert Saleh is a candidate for the Jaguars head coaching job. The Jaguars announced earlier this week that he'd be coming in for a second interview. They also announced that two other candidates would be coming in for a second interview, which means it looks like that search is in its final stages. Well, the other two candidates were Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive coordinator Liam Cohen, who's done a really good job with that Buccaneers offense, one of the best in the NFL, and then also Las Vegas Raiders defensive coordinator Patrick Graham. Well, the news on Wednesday, Adam Schefter first reports for ESPN that Liam Cohen is staying with the Buccaneers, that he has signed a new deal. He's taken his name out of the running for that Jaguars job, which means, of course, well, he'll be one of the highest paid coordinators in the NFL. But now, as far as the known candidates for that Jaguars job, working as general manager under Trent Baalke, the only candidates that are known at this point, Patrick Graham and Robert Saleh. And so Saleh, clearly a front runner, the front runner for the 49ers defensive coordinator job. He interviewed one day after the 49ers season ending press conference. That took place on the Wednesday, right after the season. The Thursday, the 49ers interviewed Robert Saleh and Deshae Townsend. They satisfied the Rooney Rule, and since then, they have not interviewed anybody else publicly for that job. Now, it is my understanding that they've made phone calls behind the scenes, but they don't want to go too far down any road until they know exactly what's going on with Robert Saleh. Meanwhile, around the NFL, other defensive coordinator candidates are being signed by new teams. And so 49ers right now in a holding pattern. And the thing that's, notable about the Jaguars is that he was seen as the clear favorite for that job. And it's based on what he's done with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 4 years with Sean McVay with the Rams, but also so many head coaching jobs. The major complication with those jobs and the reason that there's an opening and the previous coach got fired is because they just can't figure out the quarterback situation. They can't figure out the offensive situation. And so Cohen would have been coming in to the Jaguars with Trevor Lawrence. Say what you want about Trevor Lawrence. He's immensely talented. The Jaguars signed him a year ago to a contract extension that pays him $55 million a year. So they are locked in to Trevor Lawrence. There are teams out there in much worse situations when it comes to the quarterback play. But now, with the two known candidates at this point being Saleh and Graham, so much is hinging on the offensive plans for those two coaches. They come in, every coach, by the way, will, when they interview for a head coaching job, will present a list of this is who I have lined up as offensive coordinator. This is who I have lined up as, wide receivers coach, defensive line coach, defensive coordinator, so on and so forth. So I don't know who Robert Saleh has lined up for him to join him. With the Jaguars, he's still a candidate. With the Raiders, he's still a candidate with the Cowboys as well. But I would think that the big hire is whoever's running the offensive side. And I guess we could say this with just about any team. There are some teams that look for culture. There are some teams that look for offensive X's and O's and developing a young quarterback. I would think that the Jaguars, just because of their uncertainty and already having so much upheaval in Trevor Lawrence's young career, I would think that they would lean toward an offensive minded head coach, because the problem with a Robert Saleh or the Patrick Graham is that if Trevor Lawrence takes off next season, has a really good year, and the Jaguars return to the postseason, guess what happens? That offensive coordinator probably gets poached or could conceivably get poached for a head coaching job in another situation where he's being counted upon to develop a young quarterback. So then what does that mean? That means the defensive minded head coach is back to square one. Maybe he brings up somebody who's already on staff to run the offense to create some kind of continuity. So anyway, that's the quick rundown. As we've been now in this holding pattern with the 49ers for 2 full weeks, I believe it is. I'm losing track of time, but yeah, I think it's been 2 full weeks where they initially interviewed two coordinator candidates for that job. Kyle Shanahan also stated that the on-staff candidate for defensive coordinator to replace Nick Sorensen is Brandon Staley. Haven't heard much from that end as well, but there still are coordinator candidates out there. One name that comes to mind is Gus Bradley. And the reason I mention him is because he comes from the Seattle background. And also, when Kyle Shanahan first took this job as 49ers head coach, Gus Bradley was one of the first people that he reached out to. And yes, I'm checking my phone just to see if I'm getting any text messages from people that I've reached out to on this subject. No, that wasn't what that was. So anyway, just wanted to bring you up to date. The big news of the day that, kind of and maybe is significant as far as the 49ers and filling those positions is that Liam Cohen is out of the running, taking himself out of the running for the Jaguars head coaching job. And that means Robert Saleh maybe moves up one spot. So as I hear stuff, I'll post it right here on YouTube. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching this video. And that's it for now.